Dante, hey, how are you doing today?
Lucia, I'm good. Well, actually, I'm a little nervous if I'm honest.
Nervous? You've been on podcasts before, right?
I have, yeah, but every single time, I don't know, there's still that little voice in my head that goes, what if you say something weird?
Oh, that voice. I know that voice very well. Mine usually says something like, "What if you forget all your words and just stand there?"
Yes, exactly that. Like your brain just empties, complete blank.
Okay. Well, you know what? That is actually a perfect way to start today. Because welcome back to English Podcastle. I'm your host, Lucia, and with me today is the wonderful Dante. And today we are talking about something that I think so many people deal with, but don't really talk about openly: social anxiety.
Yeah, big topic.
It really is. And Dante, I know this is kind of personal for you, right? This isn't just a topic you read about.
No, not at all. This is very much my life, or it was for a long time, and honestly, it still shows up sometimes, like just now before we started recording.
Really? Tell me about that. What was going through your head?
So I was sitting in the waiting area and I started thinking, okay, what if I don't understand a question? What if my English sounds off today? What if I laugh at the wrong moment? And then I started sweating. Just a little, but still sweating before a podcast.
Okay, so for our listeners who maybe don't know, what exactly is social anxiety? How would you describe it in simple words?
Hmm. Okay, so social anxiety is basically a fear, a very strong fear of being around other people, or more specifically, a fear of what other people think about you. Like you're always worried that you're doing something wrong or that people are judging you or laughing at you, even when they're not.
So it's not just being shy.
No, that's a big difference. Being shy is like you're a little quiet, maybe a little uncomfortable in new situations, but social anxiety it's deeper. It can be really painful, actually. It can stop you from doing things you want to do.
Can you give us an example, like from your own life?
Yeah. So when I was maybe 19, 20 years old, I was in university and I wanted to join this film club. I love movies, so it felt like a perfect fit, right? But every week, I would walk to the door of the meeting room and then just not go in. I'd stand outside, look through the little window, and then walk away.
Oh, Dante. Wait, how many times did that happen?
Ugh, like 6 or 7 times over 2 months. I never went in. Not once.
And that breaks my heart a little, honestly, because you really wanted to be there.
I did. I really did. And that's the cruel thing about social anxiety. You want connection, you want to be around people, be part of things, but the fear is just louder than the want. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense. You know, I think a lot of people listening right now are nodding their heads because even if they don't have social anxiety in a clinical way, a lot of us have felt that. That moment where you want to do something, but something inside you just holds you back.
Exactly. And I think that's why it's so important to talk about it because sometimes people feel very alone in it, like something is wrong with them. But it's so common.
It really is. Okay, so let me ask you this. When did you first realize that what you were feeling had a name? Like, when did you think, oh, this is social anxiety?
Hmm, that's a good question. I think I was maybe 22. I was talking to a friend and I was describing how I feel at parties. Like, I love the idea of a party, but when I'm actually there, I feel like everyone is watching me. Even when I'm just standing in a corner holding a drink, I feel like people are evaluating me, thinking, why is he just standing there? Why isn't he talking more?
So even doing nothing felt like doing something wrong.
Yes, which sounds kind of ridiculous when you say it like that, but in the moment it feels very real. So my friend listened to me and she said, Dante, I think what you're describing is social anxiety. And I remember feeling two things at the same time:
What were the two things?
relief and also fear. Relief because, oh, this thing has a name. I'm not just weird. Other people feel this. But also fear because, okay, so this is a real thing. This is a real problem that I have.
Ah, that mix of relief and fear. I think that's such a human thing. Like, knowing something is real can feel both comforting and scary at the same time.
Yeah, exactly that.
All right, so we're going to keep this conversation going because I really want to hear more. Dante is going to share what helped him, what didn't help, and we're going to talk about some really practical stuff too. So stay with us. English Podcastle. All right, so we were just talking about that moment when you found out, okay, this has a name. This is social anxiety. And after that moment, what did you do? Did you try to get help? Did you ignore it? What happened?
Honestly, first I ignored it. Classic, right?
Very classic.
I thought, okay, maybe if I just push through it and just force myself into situations, maybe it'll go away on its own. And so I started saying yes to things, even when every part of me was screaming no. Parties, group dinners, networking events.
Oh, networking events. Those are terrifying even for people without social anxiety.
Right? Like everyone's standing around with a little name tag, pretending to be confident. It's a lot. But I thought, okay, just keep showing up. Eventually it'll get easier. And sometimes it did get a little easier. But then I would have one bad experience and it was like all the progress just disappeared.
What do you mean by a bad experience?
So one time I was at this work event and I finally worked up the courage to walk up to a group of people and join their conversation. And I said something and nobody really responded. They just kind of kept talking like I hadn't said anything.
Oh no.
And I know rationally, they probably just didn't hear me or it was a coincidence. But in my head, my brain said, see, you tried and you were ignored. This is what always happens. And I left the event early, went home, and I didn't try again for a long time.
That's the tricky thing, isn't it? Our brain takes one moment and turns it into a whole story, a whole truth about who we are and how the world works.
Yes, exactly. And with social anxiety, your brain is really good at collecting evidence for the worst case story. It ignores all the times things went fine. It only remembers the bad stuff.
So, what finally changed for you? Because you seem so, I don't know, you seem comfortable now. Like right here, right now, talking to me. This isn't a person who can't talk to people.
Well, thank you. I think a few things changed. One was therapy. I finally started seeing a therapist who specialized in anxiety, and she introduced me to something called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT.
Okay, so for our listeners, cognitive behavioral therapy, that's a big phrase. Can you explain it in a simple way?
Yeah, of course. So basically, CBT is about noticing your thoughts, not just feeling them, but actually catching them, like, oh, there's a thought. What is this thought? Is it true? Is there evidence for it? Or am I just assuming the worst?
So it's like becoming a detective of your own brain.
Yes, I love that. A detective of your own brain. And at first, it feels really weird because you're used to just believing every thought you have, right? Like the thought comes and you go, okay, that's true, that's reality. But CBT teaches you to question that, to go, wait, is this actually true or is this just anxiety talking?
Did it help right away?
No, not at all. The first few weeks, I was like, this isn't working. I'm noticing my thoughts and they're still there, they're still loud. But my therapist said, just keep doing it. And slowly, I started to notice a small space between the anxious thought and my reaction to it, like a tiny gap.
Oh, that's interesting. A gap.
Yeah. And in that gap is where the choice is. Before therapy, there was no gap. Anxious thought comes in and boom, I'm already spiraling. But after practicing CBT for a while, I'd notice the thought and I'd have this tiny moment to go, okay, is this true? What do I actually want to do here?
I think that's really powerful. And I want to ask you about something else because I know a lot of people who deal with social anxiety also deal with physical stuff too. Like it's not just in the mind, right? The body reacts.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And for me, the big ones were sweating, heart racing, and this really fun one where my voice would shake, which is great when you're trying to sound confident.
Oh, the shaky voice. That one is so cruel because Then you start worrying about the shaky voice, which makes it worse.
Exactly. It's like a loop. You get nervous, your voice shakes, you notice your voice shaking, you get more nervous, voice shakes more. It's a lot.
So, how do you deal with the physical side of it?
Breathing, honestly. That sounds so simple, almost too simple, but slow, deep breathing actually does something physical to your nervous system. It tells your body, okay, we're safe, you can calm down. And I also started exercising more, which helped a lot. Not because it cured the anxiety, but it gave that anxious energy somewhere to go.
That makes a lot of sense. One thing I really appreciate about this conversation is how practical it's been. Because sometimes when people talk about mental health, it can feel very abstract, very big and complicated. But what you're sharing is really real and doable.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Because when you're in the middle of social anxiety, you don't need a lecture. You need someone to say, here's one small thing you can try today.
One small thing. I like that.
English Podcastle.
Dante, there's something I really want to ask you because I think our listeners who are learning English might also feel a kind of social anxiety that's specific to language, like anxiety about speaking English. Does that connect with anything for you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Actually, this is something I've thought about a lot because for me, learning English as a second language and dealing with social anxiety kind of mixed together in a really difficult way.
Tell me more about that.
So, when you're learning a language, you are automatically in a vulnerable position, right? You might say the wrong word. You might not understand something. You might have an accent that people aren't used to. And if you already have social anxiety, that vulnerability feels enormous. Like it's not just, I might make a mistake, it's, I will make a mistake and everyone will think I'm stupid.
And that fear stops people from practicing, which means they don't improve, which makes the fear bigger.
Yes, that exact cycle. I went through that. There was a period when I was living in a new city, new country, and I would avoid situations where I had to speak English with strangers. I'd order food by pointing at the menu instead of speaking. I'd avoid phone calls at all costs, send emails instead, even when a 1 minute phone call would have been easier.
Oh, the avoiding phone calls thing is so real. I think a lot of people do that, language anxiety or not.
Right? But for me, it was really about the fear of being judged for my English. And the funny thing is, when I look back now, my English was fine. It was more than fine. But anxiety doesn't care about the facts. Anxiety has its own facts.
Anxiety has its own facts. I might write that one down, honestly.
Please do.
So, if someone was listening right now and they're thinking, okay, this is me, this is exactly me, what would you say to them? What's one thing they can start with?
Hmm. I think the first thing is to stop fighting the feeling. Because the natural instinct is to go, no, I don't want to feel this, go away. But that fight actually makes it louder. If you can just notice it, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now. That's okay. It's uncomfortable, but it won't hurt me. Just acknowledging it without fighting it, that really helps.
So, kind of like letting it be there, but not letting it be the boss.
Yes, exactly. You can feel anxious and still do the thing. Those two things can happen at the same time.
That's such an important point because I think a lot of people wait to feel confident before they act, but it kind of works the other way around, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Confidence usually comes after the action, not before. You do the scary thing and then you feel a little bit stronger. And then you do it again and you feel stronger again, slowly.
Slowly. And I think that word is important, slowly, because this isn't a 1 week fix, right?
No, not at all. And I think one of the most damaging things is when people expect to cure their anxiety fast, and then when it's still there after a month, they feel like failures, like something is wrong with them. But healing from anxiety is not a straight line. It goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways sometimes.
Sideways.
Yeah, but overall, over time, if you keep working on it, the direction is forward, slowly forward.
And I think that's the perfect place to end today, Dante. Thank you so much. I mean it. This conversation was real and warm, and I think it's going to mean a lot to a lot of people.
Thank you for having me and for making it feel so safe to talk about this stuff, honestly.
Of course, that's what we're here for. And to everyone listening, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, I want you to know something. You are not alone. The things you feel are real and they are valid. And you don't have to fix everything today. You just have to take one small step, even if that step is just listening to a podcast about it. That counts. That really counts. This has been English Podcastle. I'm Lucia. My guest today was the incredible Dante. If this episode helped you even a little bit, please share it with someone who might need it. And if you're learning English, keep going. You're doing better than you think. We'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.